everyone, it's Anja here. I'm back with another video for Ophelia Talks, and today we are on week 2 for our cowl. So last week we made this part here and we made 6 squares. So I hope you enjoyed making that, and today in this video we are going to get started on the next part of our rectangle that we are making. So the squares video is coming out in a couple of days, so keep an eye out for that, and then you can get on with making those again as well. So today we are making 4 of these sections. Okay, so let me show you on the one that I have already done. So this is what we are doing this week. Let me bring it into the picture. So this is where we finished week 1. This is first section of week 2, second section, third section, and the fourth one. So we're going to do 4 bits this week. So we better get started. So this is the colorway I'm doing with you, and of course this is the colorway that I have already done and that I'm using to show you just now. So I have sewn in my ends, apart from this last one, which I kept because obviously that's where we are going to start working now. I have counted all my stitches and I still have 144, so that's good. And what we do here is we are going to undo that last pull through. There we go. And in the pattern it says change to color B, and that is my lime color in my colorway. So I hold it ready and I sort of redo that last stitch with my new color. There we go. Okay, and we are ready to get started. Chain 2. So we're on row 20 and we're chaining 2, and then it says turn 1 double crochet in the same stitch. So double crochet is yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. There we go. Okay, then we are going to skip 2 stitches, and in the next one we are going to place 1 double crochet, 1 chain, and 1 double crochet. So yarn over into that 3rd stitch, double crochet, chain 1, and a double crochet. So basically this is the V stitch that we are going to be doing in this section here. Then it says skip 2 stitches, and in the 3rd stitch place your V. So 1 double crochet, 1 chain, and 1 double crochet. So 1, 2, so tip it towards you to see the stitches. 1, 2, 3 in there, 1 double crochet, a chain, and a double crochet. There we go. Okay, so we're making little V's all along your line, and it says repeat star to star. So your repeat is skip 2 stitches, 1, 2. In the 3rd stitch you do 1 double crochet, 1 chain, and 1 double crochet. So skip 2 in the 3rd, double crochet, chain 1, and a double crochet. So this is how you're going to continue to the end of your round, and then at the end you will just do the 1 double crochet on its own, but I will meet you when you get there. So I will see you in a few moments. So I have made it to the end of my row here. I have 3 stitches left. Into the last stitch we are going to place a double crochet. That's the end of row 20. Row 21, chain 2, turn, and a double crochet in the same stitch. So that's this stitch here. So double crochet into there. There we go. So each row of these V's we are going to get started with doing the chain and then a double crochet, and we're going to end it with a double crochet on its own. And then it says create a V of 1 double crochet, 1 chain and 1 double crochet in each chain space of the V's of the row below. So just going into the chain space of the V's. That's where we are going to put another V. So yarn over, insert into that chain space, do your double crochet, chain 1 and another double crochet in that same chain space. So we have now done a V on top of a V. And we are going to continue like that all along the row. So really this section, now we have started it, is quite easy again now. All you have to do is place your V's on top of the V's. You start with 2 stitches and you finish with just the 1. Okay, so you're going to do 4 rows of V's. So after this one you have to do another 2, and that is when I will meet you. So I have made it to the last stitch of my 4 rows and I'm liking the way it looks. And here I have done the last stitch, but really we are going to change colors again. So let's just take it back 1 pull through and we are going to go and use our main color C again. So let's pull that through and that way we are ready for the next row. So chain 1, row 24 this is, turn, and you are going to do a single crochet in the first stitch because the chain does not count as a stitch. So this is your very first stitch, so cut off the line. And then we are going to do a single crochet in every stitch to the end. So the next one is going to be a double crochet that we have to go into, so that's good, that's easy. And then normally you would go around the chain space, but this will show up quite well, you know, quite prominently. So I am going to ask you to go into that chain and pick up 2 V's there. Okay, and then again into the double crochet, into the double crochet, and then let me show you again. This is a V, this is a chain, so I want you to pick up the 2 V's again. I know this is a little bit more work, but it's going to look like this. And if you do not do that, let me just do a few more. Okay, so I've gone back to that chain space. So now I'm going to go around the chain space. It's going to look different. Yeah, it doesn't look so different sort of doing the 1 stitch, but I found that I did it for like half a row and I didn't like the way it came down like that. I preferred it when it was also into the stitch there. So that's what I am asking you to do. Hopefully you won't mind too much because it does make it look nicer. So try to pick up, go into that chain and try to pick up those 2 V's there like so, and do your single crochet in there. I will see you at the end of the row. Okay, so I've made it to the end of my row. I've got 144 stitches and we are just going to continue in graphite in our C color. And as you can see, I've got it here. So these are the V stitches that we've just done. Here we are going to be doing another section. It's going to be nearly the same as the one we did in the beginning. So all those different stitches, but we are making holes. Look at that. Okay, so slightly different to what we did before. So for row 25 we are going to chain 2. This is going to count as a stitch. You're going to turn And then starting in the next stitch, you are going to do a half double crochet all along to the end. So this is the first stitch, this is the second stitch, half double crochet, and off we go. So I will see you at the end of the row. So I've made it to the end of the row. To start row 26, we are going to chain 3. That means this first 2 chains are going to be my stitch, and then the third chain is going to be my chain 1. Then it says turn, and then you have to skip a stitch. So this one is the one that we are going to skip because this one is the first one that's got that chain coming out of. The next one is the one that we are going to skip, and then in the next one we are going to do a double crochet. Then we chain 1, skip 1 stitch, into the next stitch do a double crochet and chain 1, skip, in the next one double crochet and chain 1. So we are making boxes. So this is how you are going to continue all the way to the end, and I will see you there. So I have made it to the end here. I just need to do my chain. Now I have 3 stitches left, and yes, I can do one more box, so I'm going to go skip 1 in here. Yeah, that's the one. And then of course you've got 1 stitch left, and I'm just going to do a double crochet in there, just like it says in the pattern. You might have to end with 1 double crochet in each of the last 2 stitches. That's just the way it works out with having an even number of stitches, and that's fine. So we are going to do then row 27, chain 2, counts as a stitch. We turn, starting in the next stitch, half double crochets all along the row. So we are starting in the next stitch, so not this one here. You yarn over into the next stitch, there we go, and you do a half double crochet. Next one, it will be the chain. So what we're going to do is go round the chain space. So we are not going to go into the chain because that takes a bit longer like we did here, but here we did it because you could actually see the difference with the 2 colors. Here you're not going to be able to see that difference, so we'll just keep it simple and not worry about going into the chain there. So we are going to go on top of the double crochet and then into the chain space on top of the double crochet, and we are doing half double crochets all along the line. I will see you at the end of the row. So I've made it to the end of my row. Now in that last box, don't forget to do 1 half double crochet into that box and then 1 half double crochet into that last stitch there. Okay? Now it's time for row 28. So chain 1, turn. This one does not count as a stitch, so into that same stitch we are going to get started with doing a single crochet into that very first stitch of the row. Well, in fact, we're doing single crochets in every stitch along this row. So we are just going to do a row of single crochets to the end. Again, this is a row where you can make sure you have your 144 stitches again. If you need to add one here or there, do it now. Okay, I will see you at the end of the row. I've come come to the end of my row, did my last stitch in my turning chain, and that's the end of this section here. So we are changing color to B. So row 29 says change color to B, so we are going to just undo the last stitch, back to my last pull through, and I am going to pull through my B color, which is lime. There we go. And now we have changed color. It says chain 2 counts as a stitch, and then it says turn 1 double crochet in each stitch along to the end. So starting in the next stitch, because we've already got a stitch coming out of this first stitch here, the chain, we are going to do a double crochet in every stitch along the row. I will see you at the end of the row. So I have made it to the end of my row. I have done 144 double crochets. I am going to keep my work like this. I am going to enlarge my loop, put my work down, and I am just going to lay it down on the table like this. Okay. In row 30 it says do not turn. So we're just going to lay it down, and you're going to take color C. We are going to start with a standing single crochet in between the first and the second double crochet of the row. So that means you go back to the start of your row, and here we have that first stitch and that second stitch. So in between there we are going to do a standing single crochet. Now a standing single crochet is one where you start with the loop around your hook. So you make your slip knot, put your hook in it, close it up, and then in between the first and the second double crochet of the row, you're going to go in there and you're going to perform a single crochet as if you were already crocheting. There you go. Okay? Then it says chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Skip 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and then it says a single crochet between the 2 double crochets here. So there we go. And that's where the stars are. So you go back to the star before the chain 3, and it says chain 3, skip 3 stitches, single crochet between the 2 double crochets, and that's repeat. So chain 3, 1, 2, 3, in between the 2 double crochets you do a single crochet. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3. So every 3 double crochets you are going to put a single crochet in between them. 3, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and there. So I will see you at the end of this row when you have made all these little loops across your row. I have made it to the end of the row, so I have now made 47 of these little chain spaces all across my row. And if you notice, you have 2 stitches left over if you keep counting the 3 each time. But that's fine, that's okay, because of course we are working with a certain amount of stitches, so we have some allowances at the end of the rows that we need to do. We are going to cut off the color, okay? So we are going to cut off color C, and I pull it through like this, so I just leave it dangling ready to be sewn in. And now we are going to go back to our color B, and we are going to go and put our hook back in. and we are just going to continue as if nothing happened. So it says row 31, going back to your dangling colour B, put your hook back in and chain 2. Chain 2 counts as a stitch and turn. So now we can turn. And then of course we have a double crochet to do in this second stitch, so that's what we are going to do. Find the double crochet to do it in. There we go. Okay. Then we have, of course, we meet that first chain space, and in this chain space is where we are going to work now. So we are going to put 3 double crochets around every chain space that we created. All right. So you start with picking into the chain space and putting 3 double crochets in there. Okay, there we go. And same thing in the next one. 3 double crochets in each chain space to the end of the row. And then we will have to remember we've started with these chain spaces between the first and the second double crochet, so there'll be a 1 extra double crochet to do after we have finished doing that last chain space. So I will meet you there. Right, so I've made it to the end of the row. I've put 3 double crochets in each chain space, and then here remember we have that chain to put a double crochet in. So because we started in between the first and the second there we go. Okay, so we finished our row there. We are going to do the same thing as before. Enlarge the loop, put your work down, go back to the start to here, and with your color C, this time you are going to put a standing single crochet in between 1, 2, the second and the third double crochet. Okay, because we are putting them above each other here, so to be honest it's quite easy, you just see where that one is. Same thing again, chain 3, and then again same thing, but you can see this time you are going to skip 3 stitches and do your single crochet. 1, 2, 3 chains, single crochet. Okay, so chain 3, skip 3 stitches, single crochet between the 2 double crochets, and that is your repeat once again. 3, and I will see you at the end of this row. So I've made it to the end of my row here. I'm just going to cut off the C color, so the graphite or the grape if that's what you are using, and I just pull that through so that's ready to be sewn in. Then we go back to our B color, and it says row 33, going back to your dangling color B, put your hook back in and chain 2. So chain 2, this is going to be the first stitch as our round. We turn, and then we are going to go and do again 3 double crochets in each chain space that we have just created. So just give that little graphite there a little pull. Yep, so it doesn't come undone. I'm holding on to it for now. And you just work your way back across the row by doing 3 double crochets in each chain space, just like before. This time you will end with doing 2 double crochets because of course that is what we have left here. Okay, so I will meet you when you get there. So I've made it to the end of my row. I now have the 2 double crochets left to do, which I did at the beginning of the row earlier. So there we go. There we are. Now it is time to cut off this color. Okay, so now you're allowed to cut off color B, and we are going to go back to color C. So we are going to change to color C, undo that last pull through, there we go, bring in your new color, voila, chain 1, turn. So this chain 1 does not count as a stitch, so in the very first stitch we are going to do a single crochet, and we are going to do a single crochet in each stitch along to the end. So I will see you at the end of the row. Okay, so I have made it to the end of my row here. We can now cut off the yarn, and we are going to change to color A. So that means we undo the last pull through. There we go, just pull it out again, and we redo it with the new color. There we go, and we have changed color. So it says change to color A, and then it says row 35, chain 2, then turn and 2 double crochets in the same stitch. So from that first stitch where that chain is coming out of, that is where we are going to place the 2 other double crochets that we need to do. Okay, so we've got 3 double crochets in that very first stitch. Now it says skip 3 stitches, and in the 4th stitch place 2 double crochets, 1 chain and 2 double crochets. Now stick with me, because this is an exception before we start doing the repeat. Okay, so the first thing we are doing is skipping 3 stitches and working in the 4th with our 2 double crochets, 1 chain and 2 double crochets. Okay, now we are going to start our repeat, because then it says star, skip 4 stitches, and in the 5th one place your 2 double crochets, 1 chains and 2 double crochets. Okay, because of the amount of stitches it didn't work out otherwise, right? But that's fine, that's how it works, and that's fine for us to do that. So that's just one exception here, that you have to just do that, and then you can start your repeat of skipping 4 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, and working in the 5th with your 2 double crochets, 1 chain and 2 double crochets. And same thing, 1, 2, 3, 4, into the 5th one, 2 double crochets, 1 chain, 2 double crochets. And this is how you will continue, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th, to the end of the row. I will meet you there. I've made it to the end of the row. I've got 4 stitches left, and in the 5th one here I have placed 3 double crochets in the last stitch, like it says in my row 35. So I now have 28 double V clusters and 3 double crochets at the beginning and 3 at the end. Row 36, chain 2, turn, and we are going to do 2 double crochets in the same stitch. So that means in this one here. So again, the same thing as we did before. There we go, to get started. Okay, and now we are going to do those same little clusters of 2 double crochets, 1 chain and 2 double crochets in the chain spaces of the clusters of the row before. Okay, so we are not counting any more stitches, we're just putting them into the little holes that we made before. So let's do that. So 2 double crochets, 1 chain and 2 double crochets. see, and the same thing again. So in total you are going to do 4 rows of these clusters. So this is the first row. I've just started my second row, and you will have to do 2 more rows. So I will see you when you have done your 4 rows. And I'm back. So I have done my 4 rows of my double V-stitch, what I call it. And now we are going to straighten up this row, because of course it's a little bit sort of, you know, wavy, and we need to straighten that out. So we are going to row 39, chain 1, turn, and then we are going to do a single crochet in that very first stitch, in the very first double crochet of the round. There we go. Okay, and now we are going to do chain 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then we are going to do a single crochet in the chain space of the next cluster. Okay, so again we're looking for those little chain spaces that we made, and this is what we are going to use to do a single crochet in. And you do 4 chains again, 4, and into the next. There we go, see, and this will straighten up the top of this section here. Right, so I'm going to continue doing that. So chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, single crochet in the next chain space. I'll see you at the end of the row. I'm at the end of the row. I remembered not to pull through the last pull through, so I'm just doing a single crochet in that very last stitch here, but I don't pull the last pull through because we are changing colors. Right, so cut off this one. We're going to go back to color C, so your main color, and we are going to pull that through. There we go. Okay, chain 1, turn. This does not count as a stitch, okay, but we are now going to have to make up our 144 stitches again. And remember, here we had to do a little bit of a different thing, so again the same thing here. So in this first chain space here we are going to put 4 double crochets, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, so that's our first 4 stitches. Then in all the other chain spaces we are going to place 5 single crochets. Right, so 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Right, and that will make up, in the end it will make up our number of 144 again. So how many is this? 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So go ahead and place 5 single crochets in each chain space to the end. I've made it to the end. In the first one 4 single crochets, all the rest 5 single crochets. And now it's time to cut off the yarn here and sew in your ends, apart from the last one of course, because you'll have to pull through with the new color when we start the next week's episode. So thank you very much for watching this episode. Do look out for next video, which is the squares that you will be making. I hope you're still enjoying it. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.